Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this very important event. The event marks the successful journey throughout this year to bring us to this important moment of the beginning of the prioritization of the fund for responding to loss and damage. My name is Daniele Violetti, Senior Director of Programs at the UNSCC Secretariat. I'll be the pleasure to moderate this brief session, so we have not much time, but please consider to keep your remarks very brief so we can complete the whole program, including the signing moment and, of course, the celebration of that. So, without further ado, let me first of all invite His Excellency Mukhtar Balayev, COP29 President, to deliver his opening remarks. Minister, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellencies, dear colleagues, dear friends, thank you to everyone for engaging in the last event. I am honored now to advance the agenda and focus of the Loss and Damage Response Fund. The COP29 presidency has worked intensively throughout the year to drive progress on setting up the fund. We highly appreciate the resolve and commitment by the COP27 and COP28 presidencies of Egypt and United Arab Emirates. Both presidencies made critical efforts forward on loss and damage. We are truly grateful to the board. We are truly grateful to the board of the fund, the interim secretariat, and the World Bank for their tireless collaboration over these years. Their constructive engagement has been critical to our work. In September, Azerbaijan hosted the third meeting of the board in Baku. There were made tangible progress, including the election of the director of the fund. We also completed the preparation that set the ground for this historic milestone. Because today, we are finally able to say that the Fund for Responding to Loss and Damage is ready to disburse funding. That is because we are signing crucial new documents today. First, we are signing the host country agreement with the Philippines. Second, we are signing the hosting and trustee agreement with the World Bank. And third, we are signing contributor agreements with donor countries. We also appreciate countries that have reconfirmed their previous pledges. This progress will allow us to finally turn pledges into real support. That means that funding will be able to flow in 2025. This is an important win for vulnerable communities. It is the result of years of work. The progress made at COP27 and COP28, the determined efforts of the Fund and the World Bank, the commitment of donor countries, and the hard work of the COP29 team. Dear colleagues, we should reflect on what this breakthrough will mean for real people. It means houses being rebuilt, people being resettled, and lives and livelihoods saved. But our mission is not completed. Now the fund needs to, and we call for more pledges to the fund. But our mission is not completed. Now the fund needs to identify projects to get long-awaited support flowing. All countries that have pledged money must complete their contributor agreements. And we call for more pledges to the fund so we can meet the urgent needs of climate change victims. I know you will answer this call and show leadership and commitment. Dear colleagues, we have achieved this breakthrough in Baku on the second day of the COP29 presidency. This is an important step to enable action on loss and damage. Now we must drive this momentum forward on the NCQG, on Article 6, and across all climate pillars. COP29 is our chance to move forward in solidarity for a green world. We will work with you all to achieve it. I thank you.
Thank you, Minister, Co-President, for your remarks. You referred to the previous two COP presidencies. So I will invite now the representative from the COP27, representative of Egypt, the Assistant Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Wild. Please, if you don't mind, to come here for your brief remarks. Thank you. Can we open the microphone there, please?
Yeah, I think this one's working. Thank you, Daniele. Minister Babayev, Executive Director, congratulations. Jean-Christophe, Richard, good luck to the agenda, which was lagging behind, and it was a real injustice for me in this regard as a trustee. Happy to continue to support the process through the TC all the way to Dubai, where a landmark agreement was culminated. And now, so I'll just speak from the heart. In Azerbaijan, we're very grateful for the hard work our hosts, COP29, Azerbaijan, are doing to support this. It is very significant because we always lament the fact that multilateralism is facing problems. This is a triumph for multilateralism. It shows that despite the challenges and despite sometimes the adversarial approach to some of these issues pertaining to finance, we are able to 190 countries come together and agree on a very, very important matter. So COP President mentioned it is a win for the vulnerable communities. It is indeed very important that we did that for them, but also I think we owe it to ourselves to take a moment and appreciate the hard work. It wouldn't have happened in Sharm el-Sheikh if all 190-something delegates did not really appreciate and sympathize and show empathy to the cause of loss and damage. So we're very grateful for that. Lastly, I would be remiss if I did not mention that our success in Egypt, which we've been sometimes congratulated for doing, I think would not have been possible without the pressure, without the coercion, indeed sometimes from civil society. They were really, really powerful in supporting that, and I don't think we would have been able to do it without them. So congratulations, this is a good moment. Thanks to all the contributors who really made significant pledges. We look forward to more pledges coming forward, but this is an important moment where they're really showing their commitment through fulfilling those pledges. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, to keep the short remarks and waiting for the next speaker from COP28 presidency. I have the great pleasure to invite Ibrahim Achak-Jong, Executive Director, Fund for Responding to Loss and Damage, to provide his remarks. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Let me begin by congratulating Azerbaijan and the COP29 presidency for using the convening power to further the conversation we had at COP28. To get us where we are, I think you deserve a round of applause for all you've done to get us over here. I wanted to acknowledge what has been discussed earlier in our conversation. We've demonstrated to this, if we use the same global, we can achieve true global solidarity. Acknowledge what has been discussed earlier in our conversation. We've demonstrated to this fund what we can achieve through global solidarity. And we can do more. And that's why all of us are extremely excited and motivated that if we use the same global solidarity we use up to now, we can certainly move mountains. It is also important to recognize from the Secretary General, from COP29, from the World Bank, I sense the desire to keep the momentum of the energy got us where we are. And that momentum is needed now more than ever, so that we can get the resources where it's needed and protect the lives and livelihood of the most vulnerable. It has been said over and over again, yes, we're extremely grateful for the money that has been pledged so far, with the intention of turning those pledges into real resources so we can begin to actually disperse them as quickly as possible once the access modalities are actually put in place. It has also been said that the demand for the response is in the billions, and I have no doubt under the leadership of the COP29 presidency, we can continue to make a call to action and make sure we can get more resources so we can meet the demand across the developing countries. I'm also mindful that it is extremely important that we remain that inclusiveness, the transparency in reaching out to all different stakeholders so all the voices are heard. It is my distinguished honor to actually congratulate again Philippine for being the host of our board. Your leadership and your determination will be extremely critical in making us successful. Last but not least, the World Bank, for what you've done remarkably in 6 months, is something to be saluted. It shows your determination, you promise, and you deliver. And that's what we want at the fund, and that's something certainly to be recognized. As the inaugural executive director, with all the reminder that I've gotten since I got here about the challenges, the pressure, I think I'm a small guy, I can handle pressure. But at the most, the COP29, really determined to do the work so we can deliver, by what I've heard so far, to make sure we can all roll our sleeves and deliver on behalf of millions of people across the open world who are expecting so much so that we can protect the life. And congratulations again, and this is really an incredible moment of what we can achieve together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim, and of course you can always count on the support of the SEC Secretariat in your work. Let me turn now to the two co-chairs of the board, inviting both in the order you prefer, but I can see first Jean-Christophe on my right, so Jean-Christophe first and then Richard Sherman afterward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniele. Well, I will be brief. It's been a journey. It's been complicated, it's been a little bit long, but not that long actually, as I said to my colleague. But today is not a day to elaborate, it's a day to celebrate. So let me just thank first the 3 COP presidency, which has made that possible. I think it's been also a journey from Sharm el-Sheikh to Baku, to make that possible. And also, I would like to emphasize that I've been amazed all over the last 6 months by the quality of exchange we have had with the senior management of the bank, but certainly the team. I want to certainly name Renaud and Maitreyi as 2 very nice people, almost friends now after all these actions we have had over the last 6 months, and who have been quite instrumental in driving the process on their side and helping us sort out many issues that we confronted over the last year. So thank you all, and today I am just happy.
Thank you, Jean-Christophe. Richard, please.
Thank you, Daniele. And let me start off where Jean-Christophe left off, and to support all his comments, to thank the colleagues in the World Bank, the team that we've been engaging with for the last 6 months, our board, the secretariats that have been hosting us, the COP presidencies from 27 to 28 to 29. I think, as Ambassador Wales said, this is in fact a true victory for multilateralism in a very trying time. We should, if we progress here, which will make a significant impact on further that multilateral action. We have an adaptation and action on finance for loss and damage. We would have then amplified that victory that we have had today. Finally, a final word to the government of the Republic of the Philippines. There are some of us on the current loss and damage fund for responding to loss and damage board that were taken under the wing of the legendary Filipino negotiator in this process, the mighty Bernarditas Muller. It is a great honor, I think, for Mohammed, David, and myself, at least, to speak for the three of us, who Bernarditas was our mentor, to have this fund be granted, this board be granted the capacities in the Philippines as an immense success of the work of the Philippines in this multilateral regime. So I'm looking forward very much to sign this agreement with you and to be in Manila for our first board meeting in the host country in December. So thank you very much, colleagues.
Thank you, Richard, and both of you as co-chairs for your leadership in conducting the work of the board to this point this year and beyond. So I will invite now the representative from the World Bank, Aki Nishio, who's the Vice President of Development Finance, to come here on stage for his remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm Aki Nishio, and the VP for Development Finance in the World Bank, and I work very closely with Maitrey. For this session, I'm just a mouthpiece for our Senior Managing Director, Axel van Trotzenberg, who has lost his voice, unfortunately. But he really wanted to be here for this very important event. So that's why I'm speaking on his behalf. So I'm going to convey his message, but please imagine that it's Axel who's talking, and it's not me. So I wish success to the Executive Director Ibrahima and the Board of Directors for the fund for responding to loss and damage in their fund. Sincere thanks to the Director Ibrahima and the Board of Directors for the fund for responding to loss and damage in their fundraising and fulfilling the fund's mandate to provide financial support to vulnerable countries hardest hit by climate impacts. And my sincere thanks to the international community who put their faith in the World Bank to deliver on its commitment to serve as the interim trustee and host the new independent secretariat for the fund for the initial 4-year period. Together, we will make a difference in the lives and livelihoods of those who need it the most. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me now turn to the signing ceremony, while definitely we'll give the floor also to the representative of the COP28 presidency. But this is a very important moment, so I would like to invite Richard and Jean-Christophe as co-chair and Axel representing the World Bank to sign the agreement on hosting arrangements for the Secretary of the Fund for responding to loss and damage, here on the podium in front of you. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is now done. Congratulations to all of you. All right. Of the trust fund for the fund for responding to loss and damage. Nisho, I understand to sign the next document. Okay, perfect. Okay, then please, again, the co-chairs and Axel, please. Thank you and congratulations again. Okay, so moving on, I would like now to invite for the next moment Ms. Maria Antonia Yulo Loizaga, Honorable Secretary of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources of the Philippines, to speak briefly here from the podium, or here perfectly, on the host country agreement between the Philippines and the board of the Fund for Responding to Loss and Damage. Excellency, you have the floor. Thank you.
His Excellency Minister Mukhtar Babayev, our COP29 President, and the Honorable Jean-Christophe Donier, Co-Chair, Honorable Richard Sherman, Co-Chair of the Fund, and Honorable Ibrahim Sheikh Jong, our Executive Director, and of course, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. The Philippines is honored to be part of this historic moment as we formalize the host country agreement between the Government of the Republic of the Philippines and the Board of the Fund for Responding to Loss and Damage. A decades-long journey to establishing the fund was a long-fought journey and firmly grounded in the quest for resilience by those most vulnerable. And we thank Co-Chair Richard Sherman for outlining the very important link between the work as an archipelago. We therefore have a deep and personal stake. Living with risk and loss and damage has been part, and damage succeeds. By hosting the board of the fund, we are invested in its dynamic and far-reaching mission of cooperation and solidarity by making resources accessible to those who need it the most. While we know there may never be enough, the fund will be critical in addressing the worst impacts of climate change and crucial for our communities to rebuild, recover, and move towards a resilient future. We therefore echo the COP28 President Sultan Ahmed Jaldaber's call to have pledges transform into contributions at the soonest possible time. We in turn are fully committed to ensuring its smooth, transparent, and effective operations, and the signing of this agreement establishes the framework and services for the board to function in the Philippines with the privileges, immunities, and legal capacities essential to fulfilling its mandate. I have the honor at this point to convey a message from our President, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. The Philippines is experiencing a historically unprecedented series of extreme weather events. In the past 3 weeks, we have been struck by 4 successive tropical cyclones. A 5th has just made landfall, and a 6th is on the way. The cumulative impacts of devastation on lives and livelihoods, properties, and ecosystems are still to be fully assessed, as we have been on a continuous state of preparedness, response, and relief for close to 1 month now. Our President wishes to inform the parties of the deep devastation we are suffering from the unrelenting impacts of these tropical cyclones, and wishes for this unprecedented experience to serve perhaps as a baseline, not only for what climate-vulnerable developing countries are and will be in fact enduring in these uncertain and unpredictable times, but also of our capacity to recover, given the adequate and timely access to resources. The Philippines may be a test case for the fund in responding to this unique cumulative loss of lives and damage to critical infrastructure, such as hospitals, schools, roads, water, and power systems. He looks forward to meeting with the UNFCCC Secretariat, the co-chairs, the board, and with the Executive Director, Diong, to explore how we may work with the fund and provide the support needed to accelerate in Manila this December. We have come as a meeting in Manila this December. We have come as a delegation to Baku to advance 4 of our goals, specifically in the areas of climate finance, adaptation, and just transition. The signing of this agreement is our 4th goal. Please be assured that we stand ready to deliver on this agreement as part of our global commitment to ensuring the most vulnerable can win this race to resilience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. For the moment of signing, let's create the space here on the podium. You want to? Yes. Thank you. please. Thank you to Ibrahima to create the space for the moment of the signing. Here it is, please. You can. And now to the co-chairs. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. And let me now invite the climate ambassador of Sweden, Matthias Frumery, to come to the stage with regard to new pledge announcement. Another important moment. Thank you very much, Matthias.
Thank you, Daniele. Excellencies, colleagues, let me join also colleagues in thanking the COP27, 28 and 29 presidencies for their achievement in establishing and operationalizing the Fund for Responding to Loss and Damage. It is indeed crucial that we as a global community come together to tackle this, reduce most by, of course, addressing its root cause to reduce and limit greenhouse gas emissions by deploying the solutions we have available, but also adapting our societies and enhancing our resilience. Sweden is proud to be one of the world's top providers of climate finance, and we contribute extensively through the MDBs and the major climate funds, as well as through our bilateral development cooperation, and we work to mobilize more private capital. The Swedish government has stated that we will increase our climate finance even further and enhance its effect, strengthening synergies with innovation and trade. And we are already an unwavering contributor to many of the actors already today, supporting countries in responding to loss and damage through the funding arrangements. And to complement our existing support, I am happy today to announce a new pledge of 200 million Swedish krona, approximately $19 million US, to the Fund for Responding to Loss and Damage. We look forward to seeing this fund support the most vulnerable in grappling with the effects of climate change in a way that complements the already existing actors within this field. And we hope to see more pledges to this fund in the years to come, including from all countries in a position to do so. Philanthropies as well as the private sector. We need all hands on deck. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Matthias. So we have to turn now back to the COP presidencies, the COP28 presidency. Please, Anna Alashimi, Chief Negotiator of COP29 UAE. Anna, please, you have the floor.
Thank you so very much, Daniele, and thank you all, distinguished speakers, Mr. COP President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It is a true honor to join you today for what is a key moment in sort of this loss and damage journey. And we're reminded, of course, that there was a fight just 24 months of the COP, and so it is true item on the agenda of the COP, and so it is truly momentous how far we've come in such little time. But we are also reminded, as we were in the last session, just how far we still have to go. Allow me to commend the COP27 presidency for their leadership in getting us to this point, and to all members of the international community, world leaders, ministers, civil society, business, IGOs, for the spirit of solidarity that really got us here. As a member of the Transitional Committee myself, I know that the pressure was real for us to come forward from between COP27 and COP28 in order to deliver a fund that truly was different. This had to be a different kind of fund. It was very clear that we had to respond to both economic and non-economic losses, that we had to respond to both slow onset and rapid onset events. And it was also clear that these events were already impacting lives and livelihoods of millions around the world, of which had the least responsibility for the challenges that they were facing. And so the challenge, of course, continues to be a reality for many, but it was that political momentum and that sense and spirit of solidarity that got us to the historic operationalization at COP28 and initial capitalization in the tune of 600 million in just the first 48 hours, which of course, and we're grateful to the Secretary General for putting that to the scale of what football players make in a year. I think that's helpful to keep that in context in light of just how far we have to go. But it also speaks to what it is that the international community can achieve when united, when dedicated to acting and delivering. And we hope to continue with that. Among the board and as the UAE is a member of the board, we have seen that continued dedication in order to deliver a different kind of fund. We have seen a lot of work that's been put, and we're honored to witness today the signing of significant agreements, which I understand we often find ways to stretch to years, but have done in a matter of 6 to 9 months. These key agreements with both the World Bank and with the host country of the Philippines, who we're truly grateful for the record speed with which the executive order was delivered to grant legal personality to the board, allows us to be in a place now where we can turn focus, as His Excellency Abdullah Balala said an hour ago, to delivery and to ensuring that we are supporting those that are already experiencing climate impacts. And so from the perspective of the UAE, we certainly want to call for the delivery or conversion from pledges into contributions. We welcome this space to be able to do that. We welcome the pledge from Sweden and encourage for a wide variety. I do thank you also for mentioning that actually the governing instrument allows for funding arrangements are already underway, and a lot of work still has to be done. But we really want to ensure that we don't lose sight in the excitement and political momentum, that we do not lose sight of the priority of ensuring this can move on. Ambassador Wael said it well, I think, at COP28. Loss and damage, and this fund in particular, has proven that multilateralism is alive and well and can deliver for people. It's a tool for us to show that our process can really deliver when we put our minds to it. And so we do hope to ensure that this fund can continue to be a demonstration of what the international community can achieve. Loss and damage needs to, certainly the funding needs to be accessible, affordable, and at scale. It needs to be predictable, and this really needs to demonstrate what it is that we can do for climate justice and ensuring that we are delivering for the urgency of people that are already experiencing its impact. So great news today, and this is just the beginning, hopefully. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Anna, and the whole COP28 presidency. So we are at the end of our event, but before closing, I will invite Yalcin Rafiev, COP29 lead negotiator, to say a few words, and then we can close with a family photo to mark this event. Yalcin, please.
Thank you, Daniele. Excellencies, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to be here at this very historic and remarkable event. To conclude this ceremony, I extend my sincere thanks to each of you for your unwavering support and dedication. Your commitments is paving the way towards our shared goal, a world where the impacts of climate change are addressed with both urgency and compassion. The Fund for Responding Loss and Damage is a vital mechanism in our global response to the global climate crisis. For many communities, the damage has already been done. Homes have been lost, livelihoods destroyed, and lives shattered. This fund represents a lifeline, a means for our friends in small island developing states and least developed countries. The COP29 presidency worked hard throughout the year to advance progress on full operationalization of the fund. Today's signings of institutional documents mark a historic milestone on the journey to providing funding for losses and damages to countries in need. On behalf of the COP29 presidency, I would also like to express our sincere gratitude to Sweden for their pledge. We call for more pledges to the fund so we can meet the urgent needs of climate change victims. Dear colleagues, our collective commitment has succeeded in taking a significant step closer to enabling action where it is truly needed most urgently to alleviate those devastating impacts of climate change we can no longer prevent. An operational fund means the long-awaited support and necessary resources for those who need them. And it means that we are fulfilling the promises we have made at COP27 and COP28. This is a key to achieving our shared objectives. By meeting our previous commitments, we build trust, and this trust is a bedrock of the climate process and empowers us all to reach for higher ambition. Colleagues, we all know that there is still work to be done. On behalf of COP29 presidency, rest assured that you can continue to count on our full support throughout this process, every step of the way. This year's COP is not just about negotiations. It's about action. It's about enhancing our ambition and enabling real, tangible action. The commitments we make here in Baku must translate into actions that protect our planet and its people. Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, it's clear that only through collaboration and collective action can we overcome the immense challenges ahead. We must act with urgency and in solidarity to build green, resilient, and sustainable future. Thank you all once again for your participation and commitment.
Thank you, Yalcin. If those who provided some remarks want to join the podium for a final, the full operationalization of the fund, thank you again, and have a nice rest of the day. Thank you.
I'll go next to the finals. Thank you very much. Thank you.